You've got the perfect outfit. Your grooming is on point. But when you walk into that room, something's still missing, isn't it? Her eyes drift right past you to someone else, someone who might not even be dressed as well as you are. Here's what most men don't realize. Attraction isn't decided by the obvious things. It's not your clothes, your car, or even your looks that create that magnetic pull. It's something far more subtle and infinitely more powerful. It's the microsignals, the tiny details that speak louder than words, the unconscious behaviors that trigger primal responses in seconds. While you're focusing on the big picture, she's reading a completely different story, one written in gestures so small you don't even know you're making them. Today, we're going to decode that hidden language. I'm about to reveal 10 microsignals that separate forgettable men from unforgettable ones, the kind of details that make women stare without even realizing why. For decades, we've been told that confidence is everything. Just be confident, they say. But what does that actually look like? How do you communicate confidence without saying a word? The answer lies in understanding something that evolutionary psychologists have known for years. Human attraction operates on multiple levels simultaneously. While your conscious mind processes words and obvious visual cues, your subconscious mind is constantly scanning for much subtler signals. Signals that have been hardwired into our DNA over thousands of years of evolution. These microsignals are like a secret language that your body speaks, whether you know it or not. They communicate everything from your level of self-respect to your emotional stability, from your attention to detail to your capacity for leadership. The fascinating part? Most men are completely unaware they're sending these signals. They're focused on the wrong things. The surface-level stuff that might get attention but doesn't create lasting attraction. Over the next 10 minutes, we're going to change that. We're going to explore the subtle art of nonverbal communication and discover how mastering these tiny details can transform your entire presence. Signal number 1, your hands. Tell your story. Let's start with something that's constantly visible but rarely considered. Your hands. Every time you gesture, reach for something, or simply let them rest, you're broadcasting information about who you are. Think about it. Your hands are involved in almost every social interaction. When you shake someone's hand, gesture during conversation, or simply hold a drink, you're sending signals about your self-discipline and attention to detail. Well-maintained hands, clean nails, moisturized skin, neat cuticles, communicate something profound. I pay attention to details that others overlook. It's not about vanity. It's about precision. It shows you have standards for yourself that extend beyond what others might notice. On the flip side, neglected hands tell a different story. Cracked skin, uneven nails, or rough knuckles suggest someone who rushes through life, who doesn't value the subtle touches that separate boys from men. The psychological impact goes deeper than you might think. When someone notices your well-maintained hands, they unconsciously begin to wonder, if he pays this much attention to something this small, how does he handle the important things in life? Signal number 2, how you fill space. Every time you enter a room, you're making a statement about how you see yourself in the world. But it's not about your physical size. It's about your spatial awareness and how you carry yourself through that space. When you walk through a doorway, slouch into a room, or shrink to avoid taking up space, you're communicating uncertainty. You're essentially saying, I'm not sure I belong here. But when you move with purpose, when your shoulders naturally broaden as you enter a space, when you own your physical presence without apology, something powerful happens. You trigger what psychologists call the presence effect. People notice you before you even speak. This isn't about being aggressive or taking up more space than you need. It's about being comfortable with the space you naturally occupy. It's the difference between apologizing for your existence and simply existing with quiet confidence. Signal number 3, the sharp edge of excellence. Here is something most men never consider. The condition of your clothing's edges and lines. Your collar, your cuffs, the way your shirt sits on your shoulders. These details create what I call precision signals. Sharp, clean lines communicate sharp, organized thinking. When your collar holds its shape and your cuffs lie perfectly at your wrists, you're not just well-dressed. You're demonstrating control over your environment and attention to quality. It's not about expensive clothes. You can wear a $50 shirt that looks like $1 million if it's properly maintained. Or you can wear designer clothes that look sloppy if you don't pay attention to the details. The psychological principle at work here is called halo effect. When people notice excellence in small things, they assume excellence in larger things. Your crisp collar becomes evidence of your overall competence. Signal number 4, your unguarded moments. Perhaps the most revealing signal of all is your resting expression, how your face looks when you think nobody's watching. This is where your true inner state becomes visible. When you're standing in line, waiting for an elevator, or scrolling through your phone, your facial expression reveals your relationship with yourself and the world around you. A tense jaw, furrowed brow, or tight lips communicate internal stress and discomfort. But a calm, neutral expression, relaxed jaw, soft eyes, composed features, signals a man who's comfortable in his own skin. You don't need to force a smile or look artificially happy. You just need to be genuinely at peace with yourself. This matters because people pick up on emotional energy instantly. If you look tense, others feel tension. If you appear calm and centered, people are naturally drawn to that stability. Signal number 5, the language of objects. Every interaction you have with objects in your environment sends a message about your internal state. The way you hold a glass, handle your phone, or interact with everyday items reveals whether you're operating from confidence or anxiety. A man who grips his drink too tightly appears nervous. Someone who constantly fidgets with their phone seems restless and distracted. Both behaviors communicate the same thing: internal discomfort. But when you handle objects with relaxed confidence, holding your glass naturally, setting your phone aside during conversations, moving with fluid control, you project mastery over your environment. This is about being present and intentional with every action, no matter how small. It's the difference between reacting to your environment and commanding it. Signal number 6, your foundation. Speaks, your shoes might seem like a small detail, but they carry enormous psychological weight. They're literally your foundation, what your confidence stands on, and people notice them more than you might think. Clean, well-maintained shoes communicate respect for quality and attention to completion. When every detail is handled from the laces to the soles, it suggests someone who finishes what they start and values excellence in all areas. Scuffed, neglected shoes tell a different story. They suggest someone who overlooks important details or doesn't follow through on maintenance and care. It raises the unconscious question: if he doesn't take care of something this basic, what else might he neglect? Signal number 7, the power of deliberate motion. This might be the most powerful signal of all: the speed and intentionality of your movements. Fast, jerky movements communicate reactivity and anxiety. Slow, deliberate gestures signal control and confidence. When you move with purposeful slowness, not sluggish but intentional, something fascinating happens. You become the center of gravity in any interaction. People naturally focus on controlled movement because it suggests mastery and authority. Practice this with simple actions: reaching for your drink, adjusting your jacket, pointing to something. Do each movement as if you have all the time in the world. The slower and more deliberate your gestures, the more powerful your presence becomes. Signal number 8, the truth in your expression. Authentic emotion is rare in our filtered, performative world. When you smile, really smile, not just move your mouth, it creates an entirely different energy than a forced expression. Genuine emotion reaches your eyes. It creates subtle lines and softness that can't be faked. People are biologically wired to distinguish between real and artificial expressions, and they're drawn to authenticity like a magnet. You don't need to smile constantly, but when you do smile, make it count. Let it come from a real place of warmth or amusement. That authenticity communicates emotional intelligence and genuineness, qualities that create deep attraction. Signal number 9, how you treat the invisible. Here is one of the most powerful signals of character: how you interact with people who have no power to benefit you. The way you treat service workers, cashiers, and others in supporting roles reveals your true nature. When you acknowledge someone with genuine respect, making eye contact, saying thank you, treating them as a fellow human being rather than an inconvenience, you demonstrate that your confidence comes from strength, not insecurity. This behavior is noticed and remembered. It shows emotional maturity, empathy, and the kind of quiet strength that doesn't need to diminish others to feel powerful. Signal number 10. The consistency of excellence, the Ka. Final and most important signal is actually the combination of all the others. Consistency. It's not about perfection in any one area, it's about the cumulative effect of paying attention to details across every aspect of your presentation. When someone notices that you care for your hands and maintain your posture and move with intention and treat others with respect, they're seeing something rare, a man who has developed himself intentionally and completely. This consistency communicates the most attractive quality of all, self-mastery. It shows that your attention to detail isn't random or superficial. It's a reflection of how you approach everything in life. The power isn't in any single signal. It's in the story they tell together. Each detail reinforces the others, creating an overall impression of competence, confidence, and character. Now, you might be thinking this seems like a lot to remember. The beautiful thing is, you don't need to consciously manage all these signals once you understand the principle behind them. All of these micro-signals stem from one core concept: intentional self-respect. When you genuinely respect yourself, you naturally take care of the details. You move with purpose because your time matters. You maintain your appearance because you value quality. You treat others well because your confidence doesn't depend on feeling superior. Start with awareness. Notice your current patterns. Do you rush through interactions? Do you neglect small details? Are you present in your daily movements? Then choose one area to focus on at a time. Maybe it's slowing down your gestures or paying more attention to your posture or being more intentional about your interactions with others. The goal isn't to become perfect overnight. It's to become more intentional about the signals you're already sending. These 10 microsignals aren't tricks or techniques to memorize, they're invitations to become more intentional about who you are and how you show up in the world. Starting today, I want you to choose just one of these signals to focus on. Maybe it's taking better care of your hands or moving more deliberately or being more present in your interactions with others. Pay attention to that one area for the next week. Notice how it feels different when you're intentional about it. Notice how others respond differently to you. Here's what I know will happen. As you become more intentional about one area, the others will naturally follow. Because these signals all spring from the same source: self-respect and purposeful living. You don't need to chase attention when you command respect through small, consistent actions. You don't need to try to be attractive when you're genuinely engaged in becoming your best self. The most magnetic people aren't trying to be magnetic. They're simply living with intention and care. They've learned that excellence in small things creates excellence in everything. Your transformation doesn't start with a grand gesture. It starts tonight when you look in the mirror and ask yourself, would I be drawn to someone who carries themselves the way I do? If the answer is no, then you know where to begin. Pick one detail, master it, then move to the next. Because when you truly understand these signals, is when you embody them naturally, you won't just catch people's attention. You'll hold it. And that, gentlemen, is where real attraction begins.